dragon's hangover.
Part 1. The Unexpected Rescuer. The kingdom of Aspengard, ringed by Mount the sole heiress to the throne, lived in a luxury that was nothing more than a golden cage. Her 18th birthday was fast approaching, and with it, her marriage to Duke Valmir, an old bearded man whose ambition was endless and whose affection was non-existent. Ileana dreamed of love, of adventure, of anything different from the gray, ceremonial life. Every night, she went out onto her balcony, looking at the dark outlines of the mountains, and dramatically whispered her sorrow. She wondered if her life would truly end there, suffocated by silk and tedious rules. Where was the hero the minstrels sang about? Had they all died out, like the mammoths? But on this particular night, something was startling different. Instead of the usual stars, a red flash pierced the sky. The mountain peaks were lit by a flame, and then a silhouette appeared. Huge, winged. It was the emerald terror of Aspengard, the dragon Viermund. And most surprisingly, he was flying straight toward the castle, carrying in his claws, eagerly, an unfortunate knight. The dragon, larger than the tower, carefully, oddly for a dragon, deposited the disheveled but handsome knight onto Ileana's stone balcony. The knight, whose name was Cassian, was no typical hero. The dragon's voice, a low rumble but lazy and deep, said, "There, your delivery, knight. You promised me the tastiest ale that your pathetic mouth has ever tasted. This is an advance." Cassian could barely stand, soot covering his hair, and, gasping but trying to sound composed, he replied, "Dragon, old friend, I asked you. It would have been perfect if you'd dropped me off near the battered Unicorn Tavern, not in the princess's bedroom. I don't plan on being her breakfast." The dragon dismissively ignored him, releasing a ring of smoke that smelled of burnt sulfur. "The ale. Remember, and don't forget I know where you hide your spare coin." A booming sound followed as the dragon took off. Ileana, who was still astonished, approached him. Her voice was trembling as she asked who he was and why a dragon delivered him. Cassian adjusted his crumpled armor and smugly smiled. His voice was hoarse, but with a romantic lilt. "I am Cassian, princess. Just Cassian. And I'm probably the worst hero you could have stumbled upon. As for the dragon, he's my landlord." Ileana, surprised, then with a faint smile asked, "Your landlord?" Intimately, Cassian tilted his head. "Exactly. I rent from him, the basement of his cave, a bit damp, but with a great view of the mountains. But you," he took a step closer, "you are more beautiful than all the legends I've heard in the taverns, and you look like you desperately need an adventure." Ileana felt her face blushing. Determined, she said, "I do need one. An escape. Tomorrow is my wedding, and I'd rather burn in dragonfire than marry Valmir." Cassian's smile widened cunningly. "Ah, princess. I don't promise fire, but an adventure it will be. But there's one problem. My money is still in the cave, and I need to comically buy the dragon some ale." Mischievously, Ileana replied, "I think I have a few jewels that can cover your expenses." And so, under the cover of night, began their perilous and absolutely breathlessly ridiculous journey. Part 2. Tavern Wisdoms and a Quest for Ale. Their escape was chaotically executed. Cassian was a master of improvisation, but a terrible planner, leading them directly to the tavern he was aiming for. Ileana saw real life for the first time in the crowded, loud tavern. Cassian, laughing, reassured her, "Don't worry, princess. No one here will guess who you are. You look like a very clean and terrified peasant girl who probably ran away from a very fat master. Haughtily, Ileana protested, "I would never run away from a fat master. That is beneath a princess." Suggestively, Cassian said, "I see you have high standards for your rescuers." "Well, I'm not fat, and not exactly a master, but very tired." Flustered, Ileana exclaimed, "Cassian." The bartender, Magda, approached them, a tough woman with fiery red hair. Dryly, she put the mugs on the table. "Why the long faces? You look like two miserable souls who just realized they've run out of money for ale." Sighing heavily, Cassian replied, "Magda, you're insightful as always. I, alas, must act morally to buy ale for my landlord." Laughing heartily, Magda said, "I heard your story, Cassian. Except usually the knight looks more heroic and not like he was just spat out by a troll." With dignity, Ileana intervened, "We are fleeing tyranny, and Cassian saved me." Feigning offense, Cassian said, "Hey, I'm a headache with noble intentions. Besides, I have a very well-trained body." Magda, leaning in and playfully whispering to Cassian, said, "By the way, Cassian, your peasant princess looks at your well-trained butt when you lean over for beer. I see your plan to win her heart with adventure is working out." "My butt works for the good of the kingdom, Magda," Cassian replied, throwing up his hands in innocence. They soon entered the deep interior of the vast cave. The mountains of treasure were incredibly magnificent. Enthralled, Ileana exclaimed, "Look at this diadem. It's so big it could be used as a helmet." Focused Cassian, searching the clutter, said, "Leave the diadem, Ileana. I'm looking for the ale. It's harder than it looks." Awkwardly, Ileana asked if it was true that dragons... Distracted, Cassian interrupted, "That they like princesses. Number, they find us too bony." Awkwardly, curiously, Ileana corrected herself. "I wanted to ask if it's true that they poop diamonds." Disappointed, Cassian put down a bottle. "Oh, Number, that's just shiny mineral rock, and believe me, the smell is the same. Ugh, where is that ale?" Sleepily, Wiremund grunted, "You! Down there. Be quiet. I just started dreaming about roast meat." Whispering, Cassian said, "We're looking for the ale, O great Wiremund. The one you won from the dwarves last year." Mumbling, Wiremund said, "Ah, the ale. Yes, it's there. I decided to hide it, so I wouldn't drink it right away. I am a mature dragon." He then fell asleep again. Triumphantly, Cassian exclaimed, "Got it! I'm a genius. Even the dragon admitted it." Astonished, jokingly, Ileana said, "Cassian, we just stole ale from a sleeping dragon. That's not genius. That's stupidity with incredible luck." Romantically comedic, Cassian replied, "I always have such luck, princess. Let's go before he wakes up and demands I tell him a joke." Part 3. Wedding Fiasco and the Hot Finale. The royal guard found Ileana, and the wedding resumed. Valmir angrily shouted, "Finally! Princess, where were you? I had to check my wills twice." Coldly, Ileana replied, "I, Duke, was where my heart was. It was very dirty and smelled of old beer, but it was better than here." Cassian snuck onto the square. With a plan that was gleefully potentially fun, he poured the dragon's ale into the main wine fountain. The royal beverage began to evaporate, and a thick, intoxicating boozy mist rose over the square. When the first guests took a sip of the purified wine, insanity began. The king jumped onto the table and began to sing. Valmir, inhaling the fumes, began throwing gloves, over-enthusiastically shouting, a challenge to dance, or to kiss. Laughing triumphantly, Cassian said, "See, princess, a little spice and even a wedding becomes funny." Excitedly, Aeliana exclaimed, "Cassian, you are a genius of chaos. Look, Duke Valmir is dancing with his own horse." Weirmund landed. Outraged, he roared, "Some scoundrel spilled my exclusive ale. This is vandalism." The dragon then began to drink the ale from the fountain, lapping it up like a giant cat. Playing hurriedly, Cassian grabbed Aeliana's hand. "Time to bolt." Adrenaline-fueled, Aeliana asked, "But where will we go?" Satisfied, Cassian led her toward the dragon. "To my landlord. I think he is pleased with the rent payment." The dragon became drunk and warmly docile. His voice was soft, slurred. "Oh, my best friend, Cassian. That was divine ale. I'll let both of you ride me, but only if you sing me a lullaby." Romantically, Cassian said, holding Aeliana tight, "You're mine now, princess. We're heading west, to a land where there are no weddings, no dukes, only sunshine and—" Jokingly and flirtatiously, Aeliana finished, "And you, my well-trained hero?" Flirting, Cassian whispered back, "And perhaps a little more time to appreciate my trained side." Smiling, he added, "But first, we have to find me a new home, because I'm afraid when Weirmund wakes up, he'll demand more ale, or my butt for breakfast." The princess finally felt exhilarated freedom. Loudly, Aeliana said, "What if we open a tavern, Cassian? We'll call it—" Smiling, Cassian offered the perfectly fitting name, "The Dragon's Hangover." "With a great view of the mountains, I agree, but first—" In unison, joyfully, they laughed. "Let's go find some more ale. So it's the end, or no if you like it, left you comment."